Good morning. Coming to you live in the gym in Sunland Park, New Mexico. This is the 343 commitment and still counting 110 floor memorial stair climb for our brother, firefighter who was posthumously promoted to Lieutenant Jeffery Walz off of Ladder 9. Housed there with Engine 33 in Manhattan, the Bowery U. This is the last and final brother to be carried to bring full accountability to Bowery U. This climb is dedicated to his mother and father, Jenny and Raymond Walz, his sister Karen, his brother Raymond, his wife Randy, and his son Bradley. We have a total of 7 verticals to go to the very top. And once we get to that top of the 7th vertical, it'll take us to the 101st floor. And after that, we have 9 floors left to finish the last and final climb for Bowery U. Engine 33, ladder 9. So we're just about to kick off that first vertical. For our brother, I believe he was 37 years old on the time of his response to the North Tower on 9/11. On back of the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil. Our brothers responded with valor, bravery, and heroism, and upwards of 25,000 were saved because of that reason. So our brother, Jeffery Walz, again posthumously promoted to lieutenant. Lieutenant Walz was an engineer prior to his time in the FDNY. He had graduated with a Bachelor's of Electrical Engineering and worked for the United States Navy at the United States Naval Engineering in, I believe it was Lakehurst, New Jersey. Did that before following his father Raymond's footsteps and joining the FDNY, where our brother served 9 years on ladder 9, following his dad's footsteps into the FDNY, getting assigned to Bowery U, ladder 9, housed with Engine 33. Our brother and his wife Randy and son Bradley lived in Tuckahoe, New York, and it said he would ride his mountain bike to work to the Bowery U, and that it would take around 2 hours each way. For our brother, he will never be forgotten. Instead, he will always be remembered. He will not just become a name on a plaque or a picture on a wall for his wife Randy and son Bradley, who now would be in his early 20s. It's very interesting, the story how he and Randy met, and it started out with Jeffrey being responded to the East Village for a very loud, or rowdy as they called it, Halloween party. And before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and also dedicate this climb to FDNY Danny Rowan, who was from Bowery U. So for Jeff Walz, he responded to the East Village and this Halloween party. Well, it turned out that Randy was actually sitting on a fire escape right in that area, and they saw each other. Well, Randy was actually dressed in her Halloween costume as a Dalmatian, and it said they took a picture together, with him in his gear. And Harry's a Dalmatian. And she sent it to him with her phone number. And there's the beginning of their story. They had their miracle son, Bradley, who Lieutenant Walz would actually spend every Thursday he had off at Bowery U with Ladder 9, taking their son, Bradley, to the zoo, to the Bronx Zoo, to museums, to the park, to watch a movie, just to spend quality time together. Every Thursday he had off. That was their time together. He was a great son, husband, father, and brother. Our brother responded as part of Bowery U on Ladder 9 into the North Tower. Right now, this climb is finishing his footsteps, symbolically going to the 110th floor, finishing that climb on the North Tower until we reach the top. For his mother and father, Jenny and Raymond Walz, a retired FDNY. For his brother Raymond and his sister Karen, your son and brother will never be forgotten. Dedicated to his wife Rennie and their son Bradley. Your husband and father will never be forgotten. The gentle giant, because of his size, that was his nickname for posthumously promoted Lieutenant Jeffery Walz of Bowery U. They're in Manhattan, housed with Agent 33. This is their climb, dedicated to the FDNY, off and on the line. We're going vertical as the last climb of Bowery U. On the night previous to the Charleston Memorial Stair Climb, we had a gathering at the Coles house, and our brother from the FDNY, Bowery U's Danny Rowan, shared their stories. Right now, this is dedicated to Danny and Bowery U. For your brother, Lieutenant posthumously promoted Jeffery Walz, Ladder 9, being carried to the top, with honor and respect for the sacrifices made so that others could live. So his wife Randy and son Bradley will know that he will never, ever be forgotten. This is the 330th time we've gone vertical now in the initial 343 commitment. We're down to 13 brothers left to carry prior to the end still counting. Those who worked the pile for days, weeks, and months at ground zero for almost 9 months before that last beam was removed and placed in the 9/11 Memorial Museum. Right now, this is their climb. The 4th day in a row, we've made a 110th floor climb. This is for Bowery U, the last and final climb. For our brother, posthumously promoted to Lieutenant Jeffery Walz, Ladder 9, out of Manhattan, housed with Agent 33, lovingly known as their title of Bowery U. Taking him up all the way to that very top. Total of 7 verticals to get us there, and then we'll be at the 101st floor. Coming to you live in the gym in Sunland Park, New Mexico. This is the initial 343 commitment, where our brother, Lieutenant Jeffery Walz is going to the top to give honor and respect for the sacrifices made so that upwards of 25,000 were saved, so that others would have an opportunity to live. Our brothers did not know what lied before them when it happened. And responding to the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil, our brother on Ladder 9 with Bowery U went into action in the North Tower, trying to save as many lives as they could. This is dedicated to them, that they will never just become a name on a plaque or a picture on a wall. For their miracle son, Bradley, your father will never be forgotten. He was an electrical engineer who followed his father, Raymond Walz's footsteps into the FDNY. He actually worked for the U.S. Navy at the Naval Engineering in Lakehurst, New Jersey, prior to joining the FDNY and serving 9 years, his last post on Ladder 9. For 9 years of service to the citizens of New York. Our brother was an avid Mets fan, and he used to watch the Giants football with his brother, Raymond Walz. He was a father to Bradley, a husband to Randy, a brother to Raymond and Karen, and a son to Raymond, Walz, and Jenny. He will never be forgotten. Our brother enjoyed mountain biking. He would actually ride to work upwards of 2 hours each way. And it said that when he got home, Randy would tell him, go straight to the shower. To keep going until he hit the shower. He will never be forgotten. Right now we're taking him up with honor and respect. 3 verticals down, coming up to the 4th to last vertical in this 110th floor memorial stair climb for our brother, Lieutenant, posthumously promoted, Jeffery Walz. Dedicating this to Danny Rowan from the FDNY, to Bowery U, Ladder 9, 8 to 33, to the FDNY off and on the line, and to our country. Because on 9/11/2001, we made a promise and a commitment that we would never forget. And unfortunately, as I've said in many of the now 330 climbs, our country has forgotten. But it's our responsibility to keep their names alive, to share their stories. And right now on this stair climber, his story is being shared for anyone who will listen and learn. Across the United States, in stairwells, in stadiums, in coliseums, on 5K and greater runs, our brothers' stories are shared. Their legacies kept alive, so their families know they will never be forgotten. They will never just become a name on a plaque or a picture on a wall. We will not let that happen. We have 3 last verticals to get to that 101st floor. So right now we're climbing for our brother, posthumously promoted to Lieutenant, Jeffery Walz, off Ladder 9. 9 years of service with the FDNY. 9 years of service given to the citizens of New York. Let the mask unfog just a little bit. For our brother, Jeffery Walz. As I said before, he actually met his wife, Randy, in his response to a Halloween party that got going in the East Village, and they were called out for it. Randy instead was on the fire escape, dressed as a Dalmatian for her costume. They saw each other and took a photograph together. She sent it to Jeffrey with her phone number, and their story unfolds after that. Said in 1995 they moved to Tuckahoe, New York, and had their life together with their son, Bradley. Our brother was a electrical engineer, received a bachelor's degree in engineering, worked for the United States Navy in the engineering at Lakehurst, New Jersey, and then followed his father's footsteps, Raymond Walz, following into the FDNY, serving his community, serving the citizens of New York for 9 years. A veteran of the FDNY, responded on 9/11 to the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil, where because of the bravery, valor, and heroism that was shown, upwards of 25,000 were saved. Our brother, Lieutenant Jeffery Walz, after he was posthumously promoted, responded on 9/11 as part of Ladder 9 of the Bowery U, housed with Agent 33 in Manhattan. He went into the North Tower to assist in saving as many lives as they could. They made the ultimate sacrifice so that others could live. This is their climb, sharing their stories so they will never, ever be forgotten, but instead they will always be remembered. Our brother, the gentle giant, Brother Jeffery Walz, is going to the very top as the last brother of our youth. In the 33 Ladder 9, we'll have full accountability on completion of this climb. Going to the top, as I said before, dedicating it to his mother and father, Raymond Walz and Jenny, his sister and brother, Karen and Raymond, his wife, Randy, and son, Bradley, who every Thursday he would spend the day with. His day off from Bowery U, off of Ladder 9. He would take him to the Bronx Zoo, museums, movies, the park, anything to spend time with Bradley. We will never, ever allow our brothers' names to just become that of on a plaque or a picture on a wall. Their stories and their legacies will carry forward. No matter how many years since 9/11, it's 19 years already, and we still remember. Coming up on the 20th anniversary, we will never forget, but instead we will always remember their families, the FDNY, and our country, that we made a promise and a commitment 19 years ago to never forget, but to always remember the sacrifices that were made so that others could live. Nobody knew what was going to happen that day, and yet they still went into rescue mode, rescuing upwards of 25,000 because they didn't stop. They went in and got to work. For the FDNY, off and on the line for Lieutenant Jeffery Walz. This is your climb. Taking our brothers at the second to last vertical to that 110th floor. Last vertical gets us to the 101, and only 9 floors after that, we'll be at the very top. 4 times in a row now, we've carried a brother. Possibly one more tomorrow before I go out shift. The 330th time we've gone vertical with only 13 brothers left to carry now in the initial 343 climbs. The last climb will be in New York City prior to 9/11. Taking them up all the way to the 110th floor. Our brother said that he was known as the Gentle Giant, but he also had a quirk when he had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that his son Bradley is now doing. He separates the peanut butter from the jelly. Bradley, it said, was known as the little linebacker because of his stature that he's getting from his dad, Lieutenant Jeffery Walz, the Gentle Giant. He moved to Tuckahoe in 1995. In 95, I was still a senior in high school. And he and Randy were together, which Bradley came a few years after. His son Bradley was 3 years old. Our brother was 37 years old. From what I gathered during the research, we have one last vertical to get our brother, Lieutenant Jeffery Walz, who was posthumously promoted after 9/11 to lieutenant. A Bowery U, ladder 9, to the very top. This last vertical to the 101st, and 9 floors later, and our brother will be at the top. With honor and respect, this memorial started almost 5 years ago to carry each and every brother to the top. What was originally the 343 commitment before the ANSO counting will begin to take their place. Those who work the pile on ground zero for days, weeks, and almost 9 months before the operation was declared complete and the last beam was removed to the 9/11 Memorial Museum. Upon completion of these last 13 climbs, they will begin to go vertical. We're now on the last vertical to go to that 101st floor for our brother, Lieutenant posthumously promoted, Jeffery Walz. To finish his story for anyone who will listen. This is why we climb. For his family, for the FDNY and for our country to know that we will never, ever forget. We will always remember the sacrifices that were made so that others would have a chance of living. Our brothers showed valor, bravery, and heroism as they rushed up those stairwells to rescue as many people as they could. They did not hesitate. They went to work, not knowing what was going to happen. But because of what they did, 25,000 were saved. This is dedicated to Jenny and Raymond Walz, his mother and father, his sister Karen, his brother Raymond, his wife Rainey, and his son Bradley. Dedicated to the Walz family. We're now at the 101st floor, climbing in his honor as we go to the very top. For brother Danny Rowan in the FDNY, your last brother is about to reach the top. Symbolically carrying Lieutenant Jeffery Walz off of ladder 9, housed with engine 33, the Bowery U that I'm gonna have to the very top. The Gentle Giant, who was an avid Mets fan, a Giants fan, who loved a mountain bike and said he would ride up to 2 hours to Bowery U and 2 hours back, to which his wife Randy would say, keep going until you're in the shower when he would get home. Coming to you live in the gym with the 4th climb of this tour. It's a 343 commitment. Initial 343 climbs before the end, so counting will begin to take their place. So 330th brother to go to the top. Down to 13 brothers left to carry. With honor and respect, their stories being shared across the world in this Star Climber and stadiums, stairwells, coliseums, on road runs, and memorial events across the world. He will never, ever, ever be forgotten. Our brother, who is an electrical engineer with the U.S. Navy Engineering in Lakehurst, New Jersey, prior to joining on the FDNY, following his father, Raymond Walz's footsteps. He will never, ever be forgotten. The Gentle Giant is at the top. For Bowery U, the final accountability. Ladder 9, engine 33. Adam in the head. We're there. Lieutenant Jeffery Walz Ladder 9. How are you? Rest easy, brother. We got it from here. You will never be forgotten.